Hey, what's going on? Eric Bach here, the Eric Bach Show, where we help you look great naked without living in the gym because we know that fitness is a force multiplier. When you are dialed in with your physical health, with your mental health, you show up as the best version of yourself, not just physically, but personally and professionally. And today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's how to keep your weight in check during the summer months. A lot of people, as soon as things get busy, have a tendency to say, you know what, I can't be perfect with my diet, forget it. I can't nail my training, I'm just going to do nothing. And that's the exact reason that whenever people get busy, they fall out of shape and they get stuck on this forever treadmill of losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, building muscle, losing muscle, and never truly get the body that they want. And so the first thing we need to focus on here is making a mindset shift. If every time you get busy, if every time your social life picks up, if every time summer comes, if every time a holiday comes, you use it as a reason to get out of shape, well, guess what? Like life is always going to get busier, and there's always going to be summer, there's always going to be holidays. And so if we always use that as an excuse, we just further reinforce that belief that we need the perfect circumstances to take control of our health. And we reinforce that we need everything to line up perfectly, or we're never going to build the body that we want. And so it creates this self-defeating mindset that really prevents a lot of people from getting the body that they want. And so what I want you to think about is if you build habits, if you take actions, if you start to get healthier this time of year, when life might be a little bit busier for you, well, guess what? That means next time when life gets busy, you will have a bucket of proof that shows you that you can accomplish great things even when your schedule is busy. And when life is easier, when it's not as busy, guess what? It's going to be even easier to break through and to continue making incredible progress, becoming that person that you want to be and having that body that you want to have. Otherwise, you just stay stuck in the same mindset. And sometimes what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, is this mindset really serving me? Is quitting every time that life gets busy something that's really serving me? Probably not. And unless we take that step forward, unless we act differently than we've done previously, we have no reason to expect that we're going to get different results. And the unfortunate truth is, the more we yo-yo with our weight up and down, the more we get inconsistent with it as we get older, the harder it is to actually make progress in the things that mean most to us, especially with our health. So bite the bullet and commit to maybe not doing as much as you normally would when life is not quite as crazy as it is during the summer months, but still continue to do a lot. So here's what we need to think about. And so here's some additional helpful strategies beyond that rant, so to speak. What we need to think about with our training is we need to stay consistent, right? So it might mean instead of going to the gym 5 days per week or 4 days per week, compared to what you're doing before, it could be fewer days per week. It could be 3, it could be 4, right? And when it comes to your workouts, maybe before you're spending an hour, a little bit more than that. Maybe now it's going to be 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And so what we need to do is we need to adapt the plan to the circumstances that are being dealt. If we don't, what happens is we set the table for failure. We set the table for this idea that we need perfect circumstances, and we have the all or nothing mindset that prevents you from getting in shape, from making the changes that you truly want. So here are a few things that I like to think about. When life gets busy, my workout split typically goes to an upper lower training split. And I like this type of training split where we train upper body one day, lower body the next, because even if we say we get 2 training sessions per week, or even 3, right? We're not going to have any gaps. Whereas when people adopt something like a body part split, they train chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs Wednesday, maybe probably skip leg day, shoulders on Thursday, and then arms on Friday. Well, if you get busy and you start to miss a different day each week, you have very unbalanced training. This leads to imbalances. This leads to stagnation. This leads to plateaus. And frankly, when you get plateaus, you're not seeing results. It makes it less likely that you're going to be to stick with a training program. So an upper lower training split that you can do 2, 3, 4 days per week is going to be optimal because we're going to keep training muscles so they get stimulation each week, even if the frequency goes up or down based on everything else going on in your life. And that's an important concept because when it comes to training, we need to be able to reinforce the skill of training. We need to practice good quality movement patterns, and we need to create that muscle building stimulus in order to at least keep the body that we're looking for when life gets a little bit crazy. And so when it comes to an upper lower split, here's how I typically like to structure it. Within each workout, I typically have around 6 exercises. This does not include a warm-up. But the first exercise we plan, explosive exercise, something like a box jump, a medicine ball throw. This is done to activate your central nervous system, turn on those fast-twitch muscle fibers that we tend to lose as we get older so we stay strong, we stay explosive, and we can fatigue more of those muscle fibers as the training goes on. The next thing that we focus on would be a strength movement. So we're going to do 1 explosive movement, and then we're going to start to do 3 compound movements, and we finish with 2 isolation exercises and a finisher. And so when we get to the compound exercises, we're going to have 1 core strength movement per session. If we're going to do upper body training, you can do something like a pull-up, You can do a row, bench press, overhead press, any variation of those. And ideally for that strength rep scheme, we want to be somewhere 4 to even 8 reps is going to be ideal. It's going to be a good bridge between building strength and building muscle. The reason we want to keep a key strength movement inside of these training sessions is, well, as we get stronger, we improve our work capacity. And especially if we're not training as often, right? Like we're going to be able to maintain as much strength and muscle mass by continuing to punch that clock with these movements. So 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 6 reps is going to be a sweet spot for that strength exercise, ideally resting about 3 minutes. The next 2 exercises that we'd focus on would be hypertrophy focused, still compound exercises. So when I'm talking about compound exercises for the upper body, we could look at shoulder press variations, different bench press variations, different row variations, pull downs. All of these will be absolutely crucial when it comes to maximizing lean tissue growth and preventing muscle loss. And so you're just going to set that up based on what these upper lower training sessions look like. And so going back to the hypertrophy stuff, I realized I didn't tell you rep schemes. We'd focus more on the classic muscle building rep schemes. This would be anywhere from 6 to 12 reps. 8 to 10 is kind of that sweet spot there. And so if we're looking at this workout together, what it could be, if we're doing lower body, the explosive exercise could be 3 sets of 5 on a box jump. Rest 90 seconds between each set. The second exercise could be a squat or a deadlift. You're going to go 4 sets of 4 to 6 reps. You're going to rest 2 to 3 minutes between those sets. Next, we're going to increase the reps on the 2 hypertrophy exercises that I mentioned before. So lower body, it could be a leg press or a lunge. And then the final exercise, if you did a squat, it could be a Romanian deadlift variation. If you did a deadlift as your core strength exercise, then you could do something like a goblet squat or even a lighter barbell squat with those higher rep schemes. This allows you to train every single muscle group and, frankly, really have a good balanced approach overall. Finally, let's say we're finishing with a finishing type exercise. This is where we tie in some of the isolation work. So maybe now you have a superset between a leg extension and a leg curl. In a case like this, we're going to have shorter rest periods. It could be 30 seconds, 45 seconds, because we're chasing what's called metabolic stress, also known as the pump. And so say we go 3 sets of 12 to 15 on a leg curl, rest 30, 45 seconds, and then we go 3 times 12 to 15 on something like a extension, right? So we got the quads, we got your hamstrings, everything has been trained. So that's one way you can set up a lower body training. And then the upper body could be something very similar where our explosive exercise, it could be a plyometric push-up or it could be a overhead slam, 3 sets of 5. The first key compound exercise, let's say a barbell bench press, keep it simple, 4x4 to 6 with 2 to 3 minutes rest. Hypertrophy exercise. Number 1, I like to train some back and chest on the same exercise. So I would do an incline dumbbell bench press. And in this case, say 3 times 10, 8, 6. Rest 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Then the second exercise could be chest supported row since we already have the incline bench. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward. Same rep scheme, 3 times 10, 8, 6. Rest 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Finally, with this workout, we could have 2 isolation exercises. Let's say you want to get a good bicep and tricep pump. Keep those arms nice and swole for summer. Cool. 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps, incline dumbbell bicep curl, incline skull crusher, and you keep that rest period dialed in 30 to 45 seconds. Voila. You have simple workouts right there that you can follow that will not take a lot of time, and they eliminate any gaps that will happen in your training, even when shit hits the fan with your schedule. Now, before jumping into nutrition, one reason staying consistent with your training is so important is it creates a nutritional buffer. You see, when you go through that training, what we have to think about is your muscles act like a sponge. And so when you have a sponge and it's full of water and you squeeze it and you put it back in water, what happens? It expands and it pulls in those nutrients. That's exactly what happens with your muscles and the food that you eat. And so if you're going to have time periods where you're eating more, you sure as hell want to make sure that you are getting your training in. And so in a case like that, if we can have these workouts specifically on days or near days and events where we have time periods where we're going to be overeating, for a cookout, for a holiday, whatever it is, that's going to help you have a nutritional buffer and limit fat gain significantly. I mean, that's the same exact reason that every single week, some of my hardest training days are on Friday and Saturday. Why? Friday for me, pizza night. Saturday, typically I'm going to go out for barbecue with the family, go to a restaurant, do something like that. So knowing that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to have more food, more calories, maybe a couple drinks, whatever it is, training provides that additional buffer to help not only prevent fat gain, but because we're going to have a surplus of calories, cool, we can actually lean into muscle growth a little bit. And so having a structure like that makes it very, very beneficial in terms of looking great naked without giving up all the things that you want to during the summer. Now, the next important piece is going to be planning ahead specifically with your nutrition. Let's say you have a big event coming up on Saturday. You know you're going to be eating a little bit, drinking a little bit, some of these things. And so when this is happening, the circumstances are likely that you're probably going to overconsume calories for the day. This is fine. This is life. We've seen plenty of times, and research says that when diets are more restricting, when they're more stressful, it just increases the binging and the more likelihood that you are to, again, kind of backslide, feel disenchanted with being healthy in the first place, and frankly saying, fuck it. That's what we want to avoid. We do not want the fuck it's to take place here. So instead of saying fuck it, what we're going to do is we're going to dial back your calories just a little bit Monday through Friday. And then you've built a buffer for whatever happens on the weekend. And then your calorie allotment over the course of a week is still balanced out. Quick example. As of filming this, I had a family event Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, had a 5-hour drive on both sides of that. And so during the week, what did I do? I dialed back my calories. I took calories down about 300, 400 each and every single day. I trained hard. And so then when I knew I was going to have the family event, we're going to have some food, some drinks, hanging out by the pool, whatever it is, I can do that guilt-free, right? Because I've set the environment up for success. And so if you look ahead, you know that your schedule is going to be busy because that's exactly why you're saying, I can't be exercising, I can't eat healthy. Well, this gives you the ability to really plan ahead where you can be able to have the best of both worlds, where you can look great naked without living in the gym. So make those adjustments specifically with the planning of your nutrition. Of course, the key elements like having a high protein diet, the key elements of having minimally processed food, eating lots of plants and protein, like that, those are going to be staples that need to stay in regardless. Now, let's say that you're the day of debauchery. It's 4th of July. It is a cookout that you have every single year, at some point with friends and family, whatever the case. A few things to focus on. Be as active as you can early in the day. Chances are party's not getting started until later. So if you can be active in the morning, you can go for a long walk, you can train, do push-ups. The biggest thing is to do something, right? Like you're not going to be perfect. That perfection mindset is what holds most people back. So the day of any debauchery going on, what you have to focus on is being as active as you can with whatever tools you have available. Using the example from the weekend with a family event, the morning of, I went for a walk for about 60 minutes, right? Just something very simple. It's very hilly, got 10,000 steps in. Okay, I guess it was probably closer to 90 minutes. But you know what? Awesome. That provided a nutritional buffer in terms of what I'm probably going to be eating later in the day. And it's something positive I'm doing for my health, even if the other things I'm doing aren't always 100% healthy. Up until the events, let's say you have a cookout happening late afternoon, just try to keep your diet clean. Lean protein, veggies, drink a lot of water, electrolytes, basic stuff like that. But the overall concept I want you to understand here is you can't have an all or nothing mindset, because if you have an all or nothing mindset, nothing is going to win. And when you let nothing win, it just further reinforces that you need perfect circumstances to take action, and those perfect circumstances will never come. So you may as well take your time. You might as well take your energy getting focused on the things you can control right now and making the changes that you want right now, because that's going to build the skill set that you need for next time life gets crazy. And when life isn't crazy, then it's going to be much easier for you to be able to handle it. Ultimately, just remember that fitness should improve your life, not consume it. And for that to become a reality, you do have to plan ahead. Plan on being proactive. And that's exactly what we do inside of our Look Great Naked coaching program. So if you want a no BS approach to being able to enjoy your life, to be able to be strong, lean, athletic, and still be able to enjoy a couple of drinks, enjoy your favorite food, enjoy time being present with your family without feeling guilty for not dialing in your health or guilty for making a promise to yourself and breaking it, then all you got to do, reach out directly on Instagram at Bach Performance, send me a private message with the word lean, and I will break down what exactly we need to do and give you a demo inside the Look Great Naked coaching program and help you transform your life. If you're not interested in that, hey, no problem. Just do me a favor, drop me a 5-star review, leave me a comment if you're watching this on YouTube, so I know that this is helping you look great naked without living in the gym. This is completely random as a side note. As I'm filming this, it's like 11 a.m., 90 degrees outside, and I've had 3 deer run across my office window. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, that's me signing off. I'll catch you on the next one.
Hey, it's Eric here again. Now, there are 3 ways that I can help you look great naked. Number 1, if you want to grab a free copy of the Look Great Naked protocol to help you lose body fat without counting calories, then go to bachperformance.com/free training. Number 2, if you're a busy guy looking to build muscle, then I recommend checking out our Minimalist Muscle Blitz, which has helped over 1,000 men build muscle without living in the gym. Just go to minimalistmuscleblitz.com. The link will also be available in the show notes. Or number 3, and last, if you want to work with me directly and get the best results possible, apply at bachperformance.com/coaching to look great naked without living in the gym. Until next time, my friend.